Going back more to the face-to-face. So do you think Generation Z is going to lead us to more maybe even being like baby boomers type of thing? Or how that generation worked?
You know, it's very interesting. I think they're the generation of children that are right before the next generation, because you have to have a very big cultural change, and for that to happen, you need to have get up at a certain era. Right now, we have chaos. It's like the whole community is. So yeah, the parents, and there's a very strong unit, and then you're going to get like a new cultural paradigm that is more sort of closer to where we live, if you will. So yeah, this generation and the next generation, it's very hard to predict exactly, but yeah, they're much more cohesive with their parents and their families, and very often live closer together for a longer time.
Yeah.
And then you'll see that divergence again.
Okay, very cool. So with Generation Z, how do you think they will change society online? You know, we were talking about how they like the more authentic, the more real, not all the touched up Photoshop pictures. So
yeah.
How do you think that will translate to things changing online and in the digital world?
I think it's going to have a civilizing effect.
Okay.
I really do believe so. I mean, you will always have the pockets with the deviants, right?
Right.
And you will have that anyway. I mean, most of the internet is dark. I mean, 90% of the internet is the dark web. So I think, as we're using the mainstream web, I think it will become, and that's why I wonder, I almost put it up there, we will see the demise of the internet trolls, because there's like a self-regulating system that is starting to push some of that attitude away. But again, it could be very wishful thinking on my part. I don't know, I can't predict.
Yeah, well, it's just a lot of this is talking about future generations, it's all just predicting, just kind of seeing, then everything can go the whole other direction, seems like. So,
yeah.
And I did have one more question. So, talking about, you were saying how, there was the social media aspect that we have now. The tech was available back when, but it took the millennial generation to really flesh it out. So what type of tech and social media do you think that Generation Z will flesh out, if that makes sense?
Oh, you mean like millennials fleshed out social media and then...
Yeah.
Well... It's hard to say, because now we're in that phase where the internet is going into our world, our real world.
Right.
I see them more in makerspaces. I see a lot of Generation Z in makerspaces, actually, combining the digital with the physical. I don't know if that's a good answer, but I feel like there's a lot of things happening. There's very interesting things happening with that youngest generation. Solving problems in the environment. So that could be one of those things.
Okay, very cool. Yeah, that's what I've seen too. Is that I went to a panel earlier that put social media and how the Texas Parks and Wildlife Group is using that to promote their environmentalism and their parks. So it's kind of the same thing, like you're saying, like interacting the online and social media with the physical, and that's a good example for sure. So,
yeah, well, definitely. And they have this sense of the environmental impact, because they know that's one of the problems they're dealing with and they have to solve. Okay. So that's, yeah.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much.
Sure, absolutely.